Good morning and welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott and our guests, Rubeena Mohamed and Lion Fludd.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook.
The Experience is made possible by these great sponsors. The Aspects of Aging weekly talk show, unscripted conversations with experts, each week hosted by Christine Smith on AgingBetterNetwork.com. Nancy Bakke, transform your business's profit potential with proven strategies and tactics. BestEntrepreneurSolutions.com. Summit Cleaning and Restoration, providing specialty cleaning and emergency restoration services to businesses and homeowners.
And here we are. We are really here. It's true. We're here. We're hiding this morning. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. And, you know, sometimes when you're doing too many things all at once, it just still comes together at some point. So glad that everybody's here today. You know what? We are far from perfect, but we are live, and we love the fact that you are all here today. And, you know, that is what is so wonderful, Scott, about live streaming, is that, you know what, through the imperfections of life, that is when we learn and grow. And I am still doing that every day, obviously. So, yes, I'm so glad you're here. You know, Scott, we had such a great time yesterday. We have another show. Well, we have a couple shows, but the Experience Local that we do every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We were able to do an episode in a live studio yesterday. So great over at the Rec, and had so much fun, didn't we?
Yeah, and thank you to Cameron for being so gracious and such a great technical guy, and but just fun to hang around with. And Buddy Puckett was our guest, so people want to make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the little bell so you get notifications.
That you definitely need to do that. And, you know, you're probably wondering, how do I do that? Well, here you go. You go to the experience.video. That's it. You can subscribe. And I want to tell everybody, huge thank you, as you're saying, to Camden, who was our tech. He was so amazing. But huge thank to Tim Davis, who is the head of the Rec and of Valor Mentoring, and is really the one that put all that together with the help of Buddy Puckett, who was our guest yesterday. And they are just two amazing men who love the Lord, and just amazing time we had yesterday.
Yep.
So
it's going to be an inspirational episode, so people want to tune in for that. To that one for sure.
Definitely, they definitely want to.
Why
do that.
did we? Why did? By the way, did we record that? Because normally we do these live. What's coming up?
Well, I have all kinds of exciting things coming up, but it is the big 6-0 coming up for me. 60 years young. Is happening this month. I was born on the longest day of the year, the first day of summer, and it was Father's Day the year I was born. And of course, I always joke, and I was born. So there you go. It was a momentous day. But I'm not going to tell you what day that is. I want to see if either of our guests know what day that is. We're going to ask them. But anyway, super excited about that. And my family is whisking me off for a few days in Kona. So I'm excited for that. That'll be a lot of fun. But, you know, Scott, yesterday was a great day for both of us. Not only did we get to do that recording, but we got to do a whole bunch of other things. And I just want to mention what a blessing it was. Out of all the things I did yesterday, my inspirational keynote speaking is something that I'm really moving forward with full force.
Mhm.
Love it. I love speaking to people. I get fired up. And I was able to speak to the Arate group yesterday, a senior living group from the entire Western states, came together. And I was able to speak to them at the Grand Hotel in Tigard, Oregon. It was an amazing time, such great feedback, so much fun. And at the same time, really got to share a lot about my mama and my dad, who were just my heroes in life and my
Mhm.
inspiration for everything. So it really made my day yesterday, and thankfully it made their day too. At least that's what they told me. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, it was fun. We got to talk about Oregon State University yesterday a little bit, where you and I
Yes.
both graduated. It was funny. Talk about being born. I was over at the university a number of years ago, and they've got a chart that shows world temperatures. And you can see that back in 1961, when I was born, temperatures dropped actually during that time, coming up to that. And I said, well, you can tell, and I told my wife this, she laughed, I don't know why, but I said, look, when I was born, the world became a cooler place, and it's been heating up ever since.
That is so great. I love that. I love that. Yeah. We were blessed to go to Oregon State. It is a great university, and it was a lot of
Mhm,
fun talking about all that yesterday. And yeah, so anyway, we are going to jump into our amazing guest because the experience every week, I'm
mhm.
telling you, everybody, we have the most amazing, remarkable guests, as Scott would say. And you know what? Other people are going to want to know about this. You're going to want to share this out. You're going
Share,
to want to
share,
tell your
share.
friends right now. Right now, you're going to want to let people know about it because Rubeena and Lion are coming, and you don't want to miss
Mhm,
them. And so today, I want to encourage you to make sure and tag your friends, let them know. Also, don't forget the experience.video is our YouTube page. Please subscribe today. We're trying to grow that page. And if you want even more information on Scott and I, you can go to local.theexperience.video. There you go.
mhm.
And you'll find everything you need to know. So, with that, I think we're going to go ladies first, as we always do, and get Rubeena in out of Seattle, Washington, woo
Mhm.
woo, that where my kids lived for many years after they went to college. Welcome, Rubeena.
Hi, good morning. So great to be here.
We're so thankful to have you today.
Mhm.
And it's beautiful and sunny here in Oregon. How is it up there in Seattle?
It's still mostly cloudy right now. In Seattle, we love clouds. What can I say? We always have our heads in the clouds, right? Sun here is a rarity, but that's okay with me because I bring my own sunshine wherever I go.
Well, I tell you, when it opens up and you get that view of Mount Rainier,
Oh,
unbelievable.
yes.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
my
that's
goodness.
what makes us appreciate it more. To me, it always looks like a giant scoop of ice cream, but that's just my take on it.
That was one massive mountain.
That is crazy. Yeah. Well, Rabina, I tell you, you and I had an amazing chat, but I know what's going on a little bit with you, but people may not know who Rubina is and what you're up to. So tell us, who is Rubina? What are you up to?
Well, my profession is in continuous improvement, and simply put, processes are things that you do when you're at work, or whether it's an office or an assembly line. And a system is a collection of processes, and so I build systems to make work easier. In a very simple to understand way. So I spend my days looking at processes, ways to improve them, how to standardize them, how to make work easier, and how to make them convenient for both the employee and the customer. So that's my profession. And in my personal life, I was born on an island with 227 beaches. It's called the island of Trinidad, and it's part of a twin island republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And it's been quite a journey for me to get here because last November, I became an American. I became a US citizen. And that was
Woo!
quite a journey for me because it was like a dream come true.
Mm.
And the reason for that is because my immigration journey was not as smooth as I would have liked it to be. But when you're a person that tries to stay on the positive and try to make sure that you're focused on life happening for you, not to
Mhm.
you, you
Yes.
learn that there are reasons for everything. So I had to live. I At 17 years old, I came to the States to study at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. And the reason that happened was because when I was 15 years old, there was a military coup in my country, and everything was shut down, and we couldn't leave our homes. We were in state of emergency. We weren't sure if we would be able to get food and supplies and different things. It was a very tough time. And I thought, I want to live somewhere where I know an entire country can't shut down and that there'll always be hope and resources. And to me, that is what the United States has always been, this beacon of hope, this country where anyone can try and get somewhere and achieve. And so that's where that dream of immigrating here was born. And then after living here for 14 years, after going to school and graduating and working, there came a day where immigration said, "Oh, we haven't processed your green card yet, and if you don't leave the country, you won't have a status, and you might lose out altogether." So after building a life for 14 years, I had to leave and go back to Trinidad, and then it took about 12 years to get that green card, and then finally get my citizenship. That was my burning desire. But in all of this, there were so many lessons to be learned. Like, for example, when my sisters got their immigration and their citizenships far easier and earlier than me, it was, as a human being, my first thought was, why? Why is this happening to me? Oh my gosh. But what happened is that my sister that got her citizenship first was able to sponsor me for my green card. And at the time, I had no idea that is what I would be needing, right? But I went through that heartache, and I kept my hopes up, and eventually I was able to get that sponsorship and make that dream happen. And so you asked me who I am, and I wanted to say that I today am a very proud American. I love being here. I love this country. It is full of opportunities and wonderful people. Case in point, look where I am. I was born on an island, and here I am on a podcast. And just because I had a conversation, I mean, how much better does it get than that,
Rubeena,
right?
it's just so I love the perspective, because having a coup, right, and what you went through is unbelievable and unimaginable for most people, for me, right? And we complain because someone took my parking space.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about perspective. But I was just thinking, going back to the systems and processes, there's a system that somebody needs to hire you for. I think that would be the immigration system.
Exactly.
Yeah. This must be part of the frustration, is when you look at it, you go, but if you just did this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hey guys, before we jump into that, because I want to talk more about that, we're going to get our second guest in. Mr. Lion Fludd is sitting back there going, I'm coming. Hey Lion, how's it going, buddy?
It's going amazing. I feel amazing. Thank you guys.
I love that. You know what? Lion is opening my eyes to new possibilities in live streaming. So we're in the middle of talking about that. But Lion, you are such an amazing guy. I mean, we've known each other for a very short time, but you are just one of those amazing people, and I'm just thankful to have you in my life. You and Rubeena both have just been so much joy to me. So today, I just want to start off by giving everybody a chance to hear a little bit about who is Lion. What are you up to?
Thank you so much for that question, and thank you all for having me here for a second. I am at my core a loving husband, dad, retired Marine, someone who will give you the shirt off their back. Not this shirt, because this shirt's too expensive, but I'll give you another shirt. And I am just that person who wants to just spread joy, love, peace, and help others out.
Yeah, I mean, that is so great. And the things that you do are just so much fun. And so do you have like a so much fun thing that we can pop up on the screen besides just amazing? Because I love amazing. That is good all by itself.
Well, that is a good Russ word. And
I have a partay.
Oh,
There
there
we
you
go.
go. Partay. Woo.
So Lion, right before you came on the experience here, you were running. You were online. Let's tell us a little bit about that, because that's going to help us understand a little bit about what you bring for people to up their video game.
Yes, yeah, and it's crazy because right before we came on, you were referencing about me going to something else right afterwards, and I was
Yeah,
like, what is he talking about?" I was like, "Did I forget something else again?"
time zones, man.
And
Time zones, brother.
and then it hit me. I do have something else, but I did what you talked about prior. Like, anyways, I had 3 back-to-back things, and that's a great thing because I think people are seeing the value of being present on video, right? They tell you initially when you first meet someone in person, you've got 7 seconds to make that impression, right? Well, in video, you've kind of got the same thing. You've got about 30 seconds to have someone say, I want to watch this or I don't, right? So your video presence needs to stand out. And that's one of the things that I love referencing to people so that they understand, but most people just don't know about it. And one of the quick things I'll say, and I'll throw it back to you here, is I talk about virtual backgrounds. I want to get a petition started to get rid of them. So if anyone
Yes.
wants to sign that petition for me, let's do it, right? But then people say, well, what about your background? It's virtual. I'm not fading away like Patrick Swayze in Ghost, right? No, it's not. It's actually, and this is a free tip of the day for you. Look at that. It is a canvas that
Mhm.
just sits up on my wall, right? So those are little things that I talk about and show people how to elevate their virtual presence.
Well, first of all, I agree with that. And, this all makes me think about process. And I'm going to throw it back to Rubeena in a sec here. But, when you're putting together live streams and things like that, I didn't realize until I hired my amazing teammate and assistant ever. She probably does more than I do these days. And I just love and appreciate her. She's doing all the work in the background and doing stuff for me for the live streaming. And before I hired her, I didn't realize what a process I really had in place for all that I did. And I had quite a package and a process for live streaming, not even realizing that I'd put this all together. Part of that too was getting rid of my virtual background, going to my wood wall is just like your wall behind you. And then of course, my banner of my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, round all that out. But it's a real background because I was tired of fading in and out of my background and doing all those things. So process and everything we do is so important. And Rubeena, we've got our good friend Bob Feathers here, who's all about process too. We need Dave Chrysler in the room. So I got to tag Dave because he's all about process too.
I see a Russ Reels in the
Yes. Oh, it's
forming
all
right now.
ticking. It's all ticking. But anyway, Rubeena, let's pick that up on processes.
Sure. Well, the beautiful thing about processes is that they're everywhere, right? So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, what sector, what you're doing. I mean, there's a process if you're looking for a job, if you want to market yourself, there are processes there that you want to define and that you want to improve as you go along. That's why the field is called continuous improvement, because there's always going to be an opportunity to make it better. And earlier when we talked about the federal government, that's actually my dream job. I would love to be part of a team that's working together to make the federal government services and operations be as efficient as they can be for the public as well as the people who work there. And you kind of nipped that in the bud when you made that proclamation that, oh, we should start with immigration. We should start with immigration in a lot of other areas too. But it's kind of easy because when I talk about process improvement, I talk about loading your dishwasher because that's something everybody can relate to, right? If you load your dishwasher where you put all the knives in one section, all the forks in one section, all the spoons in one section, when you run your dishwasher and it's time to unpack it, it's really easy to do. You just take up all the knives, put them in your drawer, take up all the spoons, put them in their slot in your cutlery drawer, and so on. And that saves about 3 minutes in unloading your dishwasher. But if you can do something like that every day in everything you do, guess what? It adds up, and it makes, a lot more time for you to prioritize and do things that are more fun. So, there's a value to improving processes on every level. And that's usually what I talk about when I talk to people.
Yeah. Scott, take it away.
Yeah, I love that. I was thinking back to back when I was working in the manufacturing world, and one of the most popular videos with my team was Kaizen toast. And
Yeah.
people can look up Kaizen. So Kaizen just means incremental improvements, right? Just small changes that make things better. And so in this video, he uses toast, right? The presenter uses toast because he goes, everyone understands this, right? And they show him going through the process of making toast, and then how he can make little improvements like moving the bread closer to the toaster, asking his wife actually what she wants, so he's making the right type of toast, right? And so I encourage people, just go onto YouTube and find Kaizen toast, and that'll make a difference. And I'm just thinking, Lion, the things that you're doing allow us to be a little bit better as well. So tell us a little bit about what this means.
Yes, and what's so crazy and funny when you were saying that, and I have this knack where people will say something in a space like this, and people will ask me sometimes, how quick did you do that? How did you do that? So you were just referencing improvement, and then I just came up with this here very quickly, right? Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. But the speed in which I was able to create that, just off of you're speaking on improvement, right? So I absolutely love that. And what I do is I'm in that space as well. I tell people you must find what works for you and improve yourself at that every single day. You don't need to get all of the stuff done right away. For an example, when someone's trying to set up a live stream setup or so forth, right? You don't got to get lights, microphone, chairs, everything right away. Just get one thing better each time, right? And that will make you feel more confident. And when you are confident, it comes across on the screen. People can tell if you're apprehensive through your voice, through your eyes, through your posture, right? All of those things. We think just because we're virtual, it doesn't translate. Eye contact is one of the biggest things. I am on another mission to get people to stop looking at the screen thinking that they're talking to their audience. They do this right here like I'm doing right now because I see your faces on my monitor and I think I'm talking to Russ. I think I'm talking to Scott. I think I'm talking to Rubeena, but I'm not. I'm talking to a screen. But when I bring my eyes up here, now you feel like, oh, he's talking to me, right? So that's a little improvement that I want to share to the world and show people. Change up.
I gotta bring that up, Scott, because
I'll talk about it in a
I'm
moment.
Yes, I'm jumping in because Scott, the first thing that he said to me when I started doing my business, he goes, you got to look in the camera when you're talking to people. I said, I am looking in the camera. He goes, you're not looking in the camera. I said, I am looking in the camera. He says, you're not looking in the camera. We had this little argument back and forth. I said, I'm looking. And he goes, do you see yourself? I said, yes. He goes, you're not looking in the camera. And so I learned that early on. And I still, we all revert because we're talking and I'm looking in the camera. I still look down at the screen to see you guys and things as well. But I love the fact that you brought that up because that is such an important thing. Scott, it's all yours now.
So when we meet face to face, right, and you make eye contact, you shake hands, you embrace, there's a chemical that's released in your brain that's called the trust molecule, right? Oxytocin is released, and so we shake hands, and it can be released when you're petting your dog, right? There's a thing that happens. But when we meet virtually, how do you do that? How do you cause that to happen? Well, it's eye contact. And Lion, just like you said, you make eye contact by looking into the camera, not down at the screen, right? And so this is so important. I love this tip.
Man, thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you totally. When it comes to processes, Rubeena, and what you're all about. Those really can go together. You're so thankful and so joyful in life, and you want to spread love and joy, but at the same time you've got to think about intentionally what you're doing and the process of what you're doing, and so you're able to do that, right, Rubeena?
Yes, because I'm one of the few people that focuses on the people-centric part of process improvement. I when I got my Six Sigma green belt, I did get it from a manufacturing company, but I was physically located in sales and customer service. So I've been practicing my process improvement in business operations and service delivery. Um, ever since for about 15 years. And so being people centric is a big part of, reassuring people that this is something that's going to benefit them. It's also about focusing on the impact on the people that will be doing it, not just about the customer demands. That tends to be what typically most people focus on, and there's got to be a balance between the two, and that's where the positivity and the knowing that something better is just around the corner comes in, because it's part of that reassurance that, hey, we're doing this together, and this is going to make your job easier in the long run, and this is not going to work if you're not a part of it. I think that's where a lot of the positivity comes in, when I'm practicing. But I also like to think that, just being a team player, just being a collaborative person, just being able to appreciate what every person brings to the team, because there are just a lot of skill sets and a lot of talents out there when you're working with different people. And I think that also adds to the mix of being positive, keeping that outlook, always knowing that something better is happening and that you're a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that because I'm all about positivity. In my speaking engagement yesterday, spent a lot of time inspiring them on how they wake up and start their day every day. And I have a process or a habit every morning. And I think I don't know if it was you, Rubina, or Lion, that talked about just getting a little bit of improvement. I think it was you, Lion. And I love that book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. 1% better. Just getting that little bit better. One more step, right? Just a little bit better. And I just do little things that make a big difference in my life. But those habits are little processes that I have created to make sure that I'm moving in that positive direction. And Lion, I know you are too. I mean, that's why I love both you guys, because you are both just so fun and inspiring and amazing, right? Let's see it, Lion. You're amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, talk to us more about why that makes such a big difference, the things you do on the screen like that, which is amazing. That's one of my favorite words. But why does that make such a difference?
It's because we are conditioned subconsciously, whether we know it or not. We've been taught in school. We've got to teachers presenting their writing on the board, and then we just listen, right? People, when they went to the virtual space, there was actually a term that came out called Zoom fatigue. Eventually, people just got so tired of being in Zooms because it was just the same thing. Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. So people then started saying, well, if I just add in slides, it's going to be different. No, because then everyone else is adding in slides, right? So you need something to keep the mind attentive. So, for an example, most people may not notice or see this. Now you're going to pay attention to it as I pointed out. On my screen, if you notice, their colors are changing as they're going around. And that's on purpose. So, subconsciously, I keep your eyes moving. Even if I'm just sitting here or if I'm presenting something, the colors are changing as they go around on my screen. So it's important so that you keep your audience attentive, you keep them engaged, and they want to listen to you more. And every once in a while, a lot of times I do some of these just for fun. In a professional setting, I'm not bringing all of those up, right? But I'm using this in a sales meeting or something like that, which will then translate to something I want to bring across storytelling, right? Because we can sit there and storytell for ages and talk about like a TEDx, but if I could bring that on screen and then come right back to you, point example, and then I'll throw it right back to you, is when I'm meeting with someone and I ask them, what are your goals? What do you want? What do you want?
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What
It-
do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
So just in that one moment, I took you to another place, especially if you've seen the movie, right? I get to then now incorporate that. So now someone who was probably sleeping or just fading off goes, oh, wait, I love that movie. And then they pay attention a little bit more. So that's why it's so important.
Yeah, I agree. Scott?
Yeah, this is our brains process information really fast. And because of that, we can be fully engaged in the conversation. But research says that we daydream between 30 and 50% of our waking hours. So if Lion and I have a 10-minute conversation, he's daydreaming for half, I'm daydreaming for the other half, and yet we still engage with each other, right? But there's a part of the brain called the orbital frontal cortex, which sits right behind your eyeballs. That's the error detection side of your brain. So if you're driving down the road and you're thinking about where you've come, where you've been, where you're going to park, and you're still driving, right? Then a squirrel runs out in front of your car. That activates the orbital frontal cortex, causes your brain to focus, and you cannot daydream. You can't think about where you've been going, where you're coming. You just, that moment, I don't want to squish the squirrel. I don't want to hit the oncoming traffic. Your brain is focused, right?
Right.
And so when Lion puts up that video, when he puts up the amazing, when he gets all those scientific things rolling by, right? That activates the orbital frontal cortex, causes your brain to focus. And so that's all you're going to be able to think about. You can't be thinking about, well, what am I going to do after I get off the call with Rubeena and Lion? Right? No, you're just like, no, I'm right here with you guys.
Well, I'm right here with you guys,
Beautiful.
and being the responsible host, I need to say, whoops, we've already gone over time, but it's okay because we're having so much fun. So we're
Would
going
your third grade teacher have ever thought that Russ was going to grow up to be responsible?
Yeah, I know that. I'm not sure about that. Do you remember who your third grade teacher was, Scott?
Oh, Mrs. Thompson. Yep, Rowena Thompson.
Rowena Thompson.
Fabulous. Yeah.
That is amazing. Well, great. Well, so today I'm going to give you each an opportunity to, kind of give us your gold nugget, wrap up of today's comments, and then tell us how people get in touch with you. And we will go ladies first. Rubeena, you're up.
Sure. So today I loved some of the hints that I got from Lion, because a lot of my meetings are virtual, and I got some little clues onto how to make those more interactive. And my takeaway is always going to be that, whatever you do, you're not doing it alone. And always remember that positivity is always part of the product, the process, the element that needs to always be in the room. And people can contact me on LinkedIn. I know Russ did a really good job about highlighting my LinkedIn profile. So that's a great way to find me, and looking forward to hearing from anyone with questions, comments, or anything you'd like to share.
And Rubeena is somebody you want to connect with. And speaking of connecting, Mr. Lion Fludd, you're up next.
Hey, thank you. So one of my biggest takeaways that I love to share is nothing changes if nothing changes. You must want to be different. You need to be different. It's crowded out there. Be legendary. Don't be like that mythical unicorn that people think that cannot exist. It can. Take me for an example. I am here. I'm catching attention. I want to stand out and be memorable. Don't be forgettable. When you go on these events, these meetings, be memorable. Don't be scared to speak out and talk and let people know that you are there. So that's my takeaway. Do something different. Stop doing what everyone else is doing.
Amen. Amen. And people get in touch with you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Look, I got so excited. Lion Fludd, lion at lionflood.com is my email. It's the number one way to get in touch with me. I could give you 15,000 social media things to get in touch with me, but the brain only remembers a few one, right? So lion at lionflood.com is my
There you
best
go.
way.
There you go. I'm guessing lionflood.com, your website, is got pretty much everything about you too. And we have all of that information, everybody, by the way, in the comments and the show notes. So you can easily click on it. It is all clickable and easy to get to them. And, this is what I love. I just want to cap off what both of you said. You both really opened our eyes today and made this an amazing show through stories about yourself, whether it was coming from Trinidad, Tobago, Rubeena, or Lion, whether it is making yourself memorable and the things that you do to draw attention, because visibility is so important. But a story is just amazing. And that's one thing that I really work to do when I speak to people, because I don't have as many flashing things. I have a presentation, but it's hard sometimes to get people's attention, although movies of Happy Moments with Mama yesterday definitely helped out. But it's telling that story that captures their attention, that makes you stand out, because we are all individuals and unique and have our own story and our own value for people. And with that, I'm going to thank you both for being here. We're going to send you both out and say goodbye to the green room, but hang tight because we want to chat with you for just a second after we get done.
Sure.
Love
So as
that.
we say,
Love that.
always the most remarkable people on the planet. And
Oh, I'm telling you.
today is again a stunning example of what that means.
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, the things that I learn as soon as Lion started doing those things, I'm like, oh my goodness, we need to figure out how to do that, because I want to put up amazing on the screen and be able to do those things. So I'm in the middle of trying to figure all that out. And as soon as I met Rubeena, I thought, this is one of the most loving, positive, fun people that I've met. And I just, both of them just really have added value to my life. And I'm hoping, well, I can be fairly confident to think if you were paying attention today, they added value to your life too, watching out there. And if you want more value, guess what? We have it for you, right? You could go to local.theexperience.video for more information on Scott and I. You can go straight to dscottsmith.com or russhedge.com for information on us. Or you can go to theexperience.video. And as Lion said, the brain doesn't take all that in, and you're not going to remember all of those things. But guess what? They're all in the comments, and they're all there for you. So if you just look and click on whatever you would like to go to, it is all there for you. You don't have to remember it. We make it simple for you, and we would love for you to engage and be part of what Scott and I are doing. And there's so many great things going on. Scott, what are your last
I'd
words?
say, follow Rubeena's advice and make small changes and get better every day. And if you follow Lion's advice and do something on screen that's just a little bit different, that differentiates you, and as we said, activate the orbital frontal cortex. Not only does it cause the brain to focus, but that part of the brain is also responsible for facial and vocal recognition. So when you put amazing up on the screen, or you have a unicorn walking by next to you, you're going to be memorable. You're going to be imprinted on people's brains. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. And you know what? Especially when you have great value, like my friend D. Scott Smith, who means so much to me. Thank you, Scott, for every now Monday and Wednesday we get to hang out. And just want to tell you how much I love you and appreciate you. And until next week, when we're back again here on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Also, don't forget, with our amazing friend Shri on the Experience backstage before this is 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And in case you can't remember that, guess what? It's in the show notes and it's in the comments, so you can just click on it. You don't even need to remember. And I get excited about that.
And there's a tattoo parlor near everybody's home. And if you want to just put local.theexperience.video and get it tattooed, say on your arm or something like that, that'd be great. That'd be fine. And take a picture, share with us. Go
There
ahead.
you go. I'd love to see that. Until we see you next time, have an amazing life and enjoy
the experience.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.